You got to let that one go.
These are all like it's so weird how much the culture has changed, like in terms of the way that the theocratic right and like the way they would think about like who was advocating for censorship. That's what I grew up in. I grew up here in Texas, and then it's like you get to DC, and then I feel like everything changed.
Well, it
was
was always bipartisan, honestly, because if you go back to the Tipper Gore days, that was Al Gore's wife, and she was the one that was advocating for censorship of rap videos, and rap songs.
Well, there was what was it called, the V chip? Or something like that. Well, it was like the censorship chip in television
it was
or
a
video games.
Moral panic around rap music. That was like what, early 90s?
Well,
80s,
I remember.
Stuff.
I was.
Saagar was like,
oh yeah, there it is.
Not alive
This
yet.
is what I got. It prevents blowjobs. This keeps you from getting on a jet. It's going to get you in trouble. What is that? What is that? South Park? Oh my God!
Hits, man.
The
That's where
V chip.
That's where they ended up with just this. They just started rating everything.
TVPG, yeah.
Yeah, and they started putting the ratings on the video games. But yeah, it was a whole moral panic then.
It was in like 1989, 1990. I remember I was at a gym on a treadmill listening to Straight Outta Compton for the first time. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Like, this is crazy. Like, at the time, I was like a young man in my early 20s who was a kickboxer. And I was like, this is kind of nuts.
Wow. Well,
I'm like,
fuck the police.
I was getting into a ring with fucking no clothes on in my underwear, kicking people in the face. And I was like, these guys are a little wild. These guys are wild.
That's
crazy. I was living the wildest life. I had no health insurance. I was out there fighting for no money.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I was traveling around the country.
You felt alive, though.
Wow.
Oh, man, I was alive.
Yeah. Wow.
But listening to that, I was like, this is crazy. So I can imagine if you're some, like, dumpy housewife who's married to some politician's like, I'm going to put a stop to this.
This is outrageous.
Your son comes home straight out of Compton. You know, like, no, not my Billy.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I don't know. What I sort of struggle with now, like the music that is popular and like what's age appropriate for my children, even the censored versions, because it is just like, it is a lot. I'm not saying any of it should be like censored, but in terms of my own personal choices in the household, what's appropriate for the kiddos.
An approach that was, my parents were hippies. Luckily, my mother and my stepfather were hippies, and they didn't care what I did. They were like, I want you to be you. They like, you could swear if you want to.
Wow.
You can say whatever, but don't swear when you go to school. You'll get in trouble. Don't swear around people's parents. They'll get upset at you.
Yeah.
And they just were like real reasonable about it. So because of that, I had this like open way of communication. So I have that with my kids. I'm like, you can swear. My wife used to get upset in the beginning. She was like, stop saying fuck around the kids. I'm like, they need to know that that's a word. Because someday someone's going to say it. It's going to make them feel bad.
But like, I can see that when they're in even like third grade, fourth, where they're able to understand there's things we can say here, but we can't say in this other place. But like, I mean, I have a 5-year-old in kindergarten right now. I don't know that she would really get to make the distinction.
I understand that, but eventually that information is going to get to her.
Sure.
So it's like, when do you tell her Santa Claus isn't real?
I just don't need her teacher thinking I'm a bad person. That's
right.
I live in a small town, okay? I don't want to be outcast.
She definitely shouldn't be saying
I got to keep up appearances. Yes. That's what I'm saying here.
I know that feeling. She definitely shouldn't be saying it. Yeah, don't say it. I mean, I don't say it when I'm around people that I think are going to be offended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I go over someone's house and I meet their parents and they're older folks, I go, hey, what the fuck's going on, Bob? Like, I don't do that. How are you, sir? Nice to meet you. Hi.